Hi, this is Emily Brueggemann, and this is my video observation for my second lesson that I taught last week on Thursday. What I taught was a math lesson comparing numbers using greater than, less than, and equal to, and this is at fourth grade level in Briarwood Elementary. And I had three main observations. Overall, I was really proud of this lesson. It's hard to teach virtual, as everybody knows, but it can be especially hard with math, especially since I like to learn and teach math hands-on. I'm happy that I utilized the whiteboard with them, and I think that helped keep them engaged for the most part. And I liked my anticipatory set of relating it all to money, because fourth graders are at that age where they understand the more money the better. They can buy more of what they want. And then also, it's easy to see when two amounts of money are the exact same. So I thought that was a good way to introduce my lesson. However, there were some things that I noticed that I would change in the future. So I'm going to go through my list with you and kind of explain and talk about what I learned from it all. So my first observation, I said that I told a student, it was Jack, at the beginning of the lesson that I would help him with his issue of a missing paper later. So as anybody knows who's in education, kids often lose papers even though it's probably right in front of them. So I'm not quick to say, okay, let me drop everything I'm doing and upload a new packet for you. But in this case, I do regret not fixing it sooner, because he had been telling me that all week. We had sent out a bunch of new papers. Parents were in charge of coming and picking them up from the school. And the student, he said he hadn't had this math packet for a while, and each day I would forget. And so I'd have Mrs. Stotts upload it, and you'll even hear me say that in the middle of the video when she walks in the classroom. I'd say, hey, can you upload, these 2 pages on Canvas so the student can do it? And basically a way I will handle that in the future is obviously give them the chance to find the packet first, because I still feel confident he has it. He's just, maybe it's attached to a staple. But in the future, I would definitely, address that more promptly. One of the ways is just being prepared every morning, making sure everything I need is posted online, or emailing it to his parents and saying, if you have access to a printer, Jack says he cannot find this packet, go ahead and print it off, just to ensure each of my students is ready for the day. My second observation was I did not pass out any bark bucks during the lesson. So bark bucks is the positive reinforcement system that Briarwood has. They're little tickets, and at the end of the day, you draw a name, and then that person gets a reward. And it's just depends on online versus in person, but the kids really enjoy it, and overall engagement was good for the lesson, and behavior wasn't awful. But when kids were acting up, that would have been a good time for me to say, oh, I really like the way how, Jane is acting. She's participating. She's raising her hand. She's using her whiteboard appropriately. I'm going to give you a bark buck and put it in the bucket. So in the future, I'll definitely do that more often. I don't want to do it so often to where it's not a big deal. But at least, 2 or 3 people can be rewarded per lesson, just to help with behavior. And then the last one, okay, so my observation was I did not go over the 3x6 table with them or stress the importance of using the table on their homework. So it's a little tricky in the morning, because we're supposed to only be on WebEx for 50 minutes with the kids, and most of that time is morning meeting, Calm Classroom, and attendance, as well as grading morning work. So there's a lot to get done in that short amount of time, and we often go like 20 minutes over. So I'm always really crunched and pressed for time. So I'm cutting myself a little bit of slack with this one, but I didn't really go over the 3x6 table. I felt like this lesson was fairly easy. The kids felt confident with it. I was able to tell, thanks to the whiteboards, that they had a good understanding of it all. And after grading all their homework, I feel really confident that they have a great understanding of it all. But still, kind of going over by the 3x6 table and why that would be used. I think a lot of the kids thought, why would I do that? It's super tedious. I can just look at these numbers and know which one's greater, which one's less, which one's equal, which is great. But for the purpose of the paper, I should have been more clear with my expectations. So in the future, hoping that I'll have more time when kids are actually in the classroom, just being able to say, hey, like, I know this might seem really tedious, but there's a reason for everything that we do in math, and this is just to ensure that we know which number is bigger, which one's greater, which one's less, and which one's equal. And it only takes a few seconds. So kind of, reassure them that it's not going to take up that much time. I trust that you know how to do it, but sometimes you just have to, follow instructions and listen to my expectations. So those are my three main observations for the lesson. Like I said, overall, I'm pretty happy with how it went, and I'm happy with the papers that I graded afterwards. So describe how your thinking has changed and what changes you will make in your teaching because of what you have learned. So I think I kind of went over that, but yeah, just overall, I'm excited to have them in person because teaching changes a lot. But as for online, you just have to be super clear with your expectations. Try to make lessons highly engaging, and the whiteboards really help with that. And then just being, still giving out a lot of positive reinforcement to ensure that the kids are behaving, engaged, and ready to learn and ready to be successful. So that is my video observation.